The best part was about waking up to each other every morning, was seeing her sleeping beside him. He stared lovingly at the tiny figure, breathing delicately. He reached out his eagle claw to stroke her pink, silky mane. They had been really married for about 3 months already. It was hard for him to believe that he had gotten married in the first place. After the eons of loneliness, and he had fallen in love with the most beautiful mare in the world, and she returned his love. Seeing their love each other reminded him that they have not dreamt of it. She stirred in her sleep slowly over to face him. Adorable teal eyes fluttered open. "Good morning," he whispered. She looked up at him and smiled. "Good morning. What time is it?" He checked his wiggy-handed clock on the wall. "Oh, about 9:15. Oh, I should really go and feed the animals." She flipped on her back and attempted to rise, but only stopped when he pulled her closer to his body. "I'm sure they could wait," he said lowly. "Discord? All right, if you insist." He snapped his fingers. "Done. Now you have plenty of time." He tightened the grip on her. She shook her head. "Discord, I have to get up eventually. I have to meet the girls at the spa this afternoon." "Yes, but in the meantime, do we have to go through this every morning?" "I can help it if you want to spend time with you as possible. But can I help it if I love you?" "No, I suppose not. Well, besides, you were very sleepy last night and you deserve a break." She sighed in defeat. "All right, guess a little longer." As he kissed his beloved wife, Discord concluded that his life couldn't even be better than this. "So how is the married life, Fluttershy?" Rarity asked in the spa as the ladies had 2 cucumbers over her eyes. Pinkie Pie let out a cheerful cry as she did a cannonball in her herbal bath, landing in between Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy, splashing them both. "Yeah!" the pink pony chimed, popping up from the water. "What is it like being the Lord of Chaos's wife?" The yellow Pegasus blushed. "It's wonderful. The things have been going great between us." "So the romance hasn't faded yet?" Rainbow inquired. "No, not at all. Discord makes every day memorable. Last night he took me out to see some fireflies. Oh, and it was magnificent." "Aw, that's so sweet," Pinkie Pie swooned. "But seriously, you haven't grown tired of each other?" Rainbow pressed on. "Rainbow, what thing to say?" Twilight exclaimed while getting a hoof cure. Tell me that you still don't approve of their marriage." "Oh no, it's not that. It's just a 50% of marriages don't work out, and every pony does a shock of what the Pegasus said." "I'm sorry, Fluttershy. I'm just getting used to the wedding jitters. It's nothing to do with you or Discord." "You and Soren having problems?" Applejack asked as the massage table. "No, it's just I've never got even the thought of marriage before, and what if Soren and I weren't really meant for each other?" "I thought you loved him," Fluttershy said. "But I do, but what if I don't love him as much as I do think." "No, don't worry about that, Rainbow Dash," Rarity said. "Every bride feels this way." "How do you know? You never got married." "She's right, Dashy," Fluttershy assured her. "I felt the same way when I was engaged to Discord. Both times, it's normal to be nervous." "I guess you're right, but what I am interested in now is what's going on between Applejack and Spike." "Well, Applejack stammered. They've been spending so much time together recently," Twilight interrupted. "Spike hardly spends 2 minutes on his chores." "Sounds like you two are happy," Rarity sighed. "Well, we are," Applejack grinned. "How's Fancy Pants?" "Oh, sometimes I wish he wasn't formal all the time. But other than that, I think we're doing all right." Pinkie Pie sighed dreamily. "I wish I had some pony like you guys." "You'll find him someday, Pinkie," Applejack reassured her. "You too, Twilight." "I am so busy with royal duties," the Alicorn said. "I'm not sure if I have the time." Suddenly, Fluttershy grew very hungry. "Hey, girls, can we get some lunch after this?" Everyone all agreed, and they soon got their treatment, and once they were finished, the 6 friends then went to the cafe, and after a waiter had brought them their food, Fluttershy had a surprisingly request. "Do you have any whipped cream?" He raised an eyebrow and ordered a plate of spaghetti with a glass of chocolate milk. "We do, madame, but what do you want it for?" "She probably wants it for her chocolate milk," Pinkie said, holding her own glass. "Bring some for me, too." The waiter shrugged and returned a few minutes later with a can of whipped cream. Fluttershy snatched it out of his hoof and squirted all over her spaghetti. Every pony stared at her in confusion. Fluttershy?" Rainbow Dash said. "Can you bring me some hot sauce as well?" the yellow Pegasus asked the waiter. "Hot sauce?" he repeated. "Ma'am, I don't think—" "Please," she battered her eyes. "With some caramel sauce, too?" He sighed. "Well, as you wish, madame." "Fluttershy, are you okay?" Twilight inquired. "I just have this weird craving of spaghetti, whipped cream, hot sauce, and caramel," Fluttershy explained. "But all at once?" Pinkie asked. I think that's a weird combination." "I'm telling you, that's what I'm really hungry for. Madame, said the waiter, here is your... Thank you. She grabbed 2 bottles and splattered the contents on the plate. Her friends had cringed as well as she began stuffing the collection of her own throat. Oh, Fluttershy, Rarity exclaimed. Table manners, please. What's the matter, Rarity? Fluttershy snapped, her mouthful of food. Afraid to get dirty? Fluttershy. The yellow Pegasus shook her head and shocked out of the way she was behaving, and then she wiped her mouth with a brush. Sorry, girls. I don't know what came over to me. I just been feeling very strange. No kidding, Rainbow said. What was staring out of her recipe? So, other than your particular appetite, Twilight said, how else have you been feeling strange? Well, Fluttershy pondered, when I got out of bed this morning, I had a terrible cramp and I almost fainted on my way over here. Have you been sleeping all right? Yes, actually more than usual. She yawned. For instance, she abruptly collapsed face down on the food, and Applejack gently left her head. Fluttershy, wake up. Her eyes snapped open. Huh? The cowgirl then began wiping her face. Are you sure you've been sleeping enough? More than enough. I fell asleep at least at 6 and woke up at 9 this morning. Maybe you overworked? I see. I know how Discord's been feeding the animals every day for 5 days straight. Anything but overworked. She then suddenly put her hoof on her mouth and put her over on her stomach. Oh my, her cheeks puffed. I don't feel very good. Twilight then summoned a bucket with her magic and handed it to Fluttershy just in time. My serves you right for eating that barf, Fluttershy, Rainbow said. Maybe we should take you to a doctor, Twilight suggested. We could see what this is about. Since he had fallen in love with Fluttershy, Discord had been using his magic to doing good deeds. Ponies out from far and wide would come for him for help, and he was sitting on the throne room listening to a stallion from the Hoofington, and he had lost interest in the middle of his speech and let out a yawn. When the sweet voice brought his attention back, Discord, I have very exciting... Fluttershy trailed off when she saw the visitor. Oh, I did not know you had business. I suppose it could wait. Nonsense, the Draconiquest said, waving his paw. Come over here, my dear. She was once at his side and ran his finger through her chin. I'll be with you in a moment. He returned to the stallion. So, let me get this straight. Your village was attacked by papyrus sprites? Yes, the stallion nodded. So what would you like me to do about it? Well, Discord, Fluttershy warned. It's a simple question, her husband said innocently. All your crops were devoured, the stallion replied, and we have no food to last for the winter. So what Bonephone harvest, I see. Yes. Do you want me to get it for then? You've got seeds, don't you? Yes, but they won't grow in time. He sighed. Okay, but it's gonna have to cost you. Fluttershy crossed her hoof. Discord! Oh, the stallion uttered. What's your price? I want... The room then turned dark and ignited by Discord's throne. Your soul, he hissed. The stallion cowered in fear and the Draconiquest broke into laughter and returned the room to normal. Oh, that was priceless! You should have seen your face! He wiped a tear from his eye. I'm just kidding, he snapped his fingers. Your village has enough food to last for the winter, and halfway through spring... Oh, thank you, the stallion said, backing towards the door. Thank you, Lord Discord. We're intentionally grateful. Yeah, you could send me a gift basket whenever if you want. Once the door was shut and the Draconiquest shaked his arm around his wife. Now that we're alone, he then pressed his lips and before she could say anything, she took a moment to kiss him, then pulled away. Actually, honey, there's something I need to talk to you about. He chuckled. Why do you want to talk about it? There's so many interesting things we could do. It's important! He rolled his eyes. Oh, all right. What is it that you want to talk about, my angel? She laid her hoof on her tummy. Well, you see, I went to the doctor's today. Discord gasped. The doctors? He touched her forehead. Are you ill? Is it serious? How many months do you have left to live? She laughed. Discord, I'm not. Whatever it is, I'll cure you. But I'm not. So what is it? Pneumonia? Cancer? Tuberculosis? Pregnancy? Oh my gosh, that's even worse than I thought. He paused. Wait, run that by me again? She shook her head and looked up with a bright smile. I'm having a baby. Discord blinked. What? I'm due in 10 months. But us, baby? She then nodded. You're going to be a father. He then stared at her for a moment, then scooped her up in her arms. Oh, honey, this is wonderful. Fluttershy laughed. I know you'd be excited. Excited? I'm thrilled. I was beginning to think biologically impossible for us to have a baby, but yet again with me, anything is possible. He hugged her as a horrifying thought occurred to him. What is it going to be like? Fluttershy shrugged. Doesn't matter? But what if it looks like me? I don't care. I'll love our baby no matter what it looks like. You will too. He then forced a smile and embraced him in there, and she's right on that. Although there is hoping that it takes after its mother. but Discord wasn't really sure on that note. Soren and Rainbow Dash's wedding was held at the Wonderbolts Academy on the runway. Twilight Hat was performing the ceremony while the rest of them were the 5 bridesmaids. Spike was the ring bearer, while Scootaloo, Applebloom, and Sweetie Belle were the flower girls, and for the 3rd time in the row. Discord may have to sit back in the row because he was tall, which meant he had to be next to Celestia and Luna, far from his wife. Why do I always have to be here anyway? Discord thought. He didn't even know the groom, and Dashi doesn't even like me. He glanced at Fluttershy, who stood with her friends at the altar. She was 3 months pregnant and was starting to show, and was worried something was going to happen to her wherever they were apart, even if it was a few feet. He met his gaze and gave him a reassuring smile, calming him down a little. Then the music starts up and every pony turns to see that the flies swoop down from the runway and followed by Rainbow Dash, who is flowing more translucent multi-green colored gown with a short train veil that was the same colors from the hangings of the wreaths, sparkling with red wax grapes. Soren's eyes widened as it drew closer. Spitfire then stood by his side for his best mare, and was just looking at the couple of her members of the Wonderbolts. They were all looked at each other as their Wonderbolts jackets had ties. Once Rainbow and Soren had their vows, their marriage was sealed with a kiss, and every pony stamped their hooves and cheered. Discord rolled his eyes and clapped his hands with confidence. He was just excited that he was to be able to get back to his wife. At the reception, Discord and Fluttershy were met with Derpy, who appeared to gain weight. "I heard you're having a baby too," she exclaimed. "That's so exciting! I'm having a baby too." Fluttershy gasped, "Oh, how wonderful, but who's—" "Wouldn't even bother if our babies come at the same time. When are you due?" 8 months. "Ah, mine's due in 6. Bummer. Oh well. Promise we'll get a play date?" "That would be lovely." "Great. I gotta go. I've got muffin craving." As the Great Pegasus left, Fluttershy looked up at Discord. "Speaking of cravings, I could really go for some cotton candy." The Draconequest zapped a cone for her, and she licked it contently. "Funny how most of your cravings include chocolate milk and cotton candy." "I guess that's what it has to do with you being the father," Fluttershy giggled. "By the way, when do you think it's going to be? A boy or a girl?" "It's too early for the doctor to tell." "Hey, can't you find out? After all, you were able to tell Caden's baby was going to be a girl." "Oh yeah, he used his x-ray vision and tried to get a look, but something seemed to preventing him from doing so." "Ow," he said, his hands flying up in his air near his eyes. "What's wrong?" Fluttershy asked. Once his vision had readjusted, he shook his head. "I guess the kid doesn't want me peeking." "Well, can it have magical abilities even before it was born?" "Don't look at me. I didn't have parents to teach me these things." "Oh well," she shrugged. "Well, it looks like you're gonna have to be surprised." Then the new elite stepped down as the Pegasus-drawn chariot, and Rainbow Dash tossed her bouquet over her shoulders. A single mare scrambled for it, but it landed in Spike's claws. Applejack was standing right beside him at that moment. They glanced away awkwardly. "We're almost there," Pinkie chimed as she led Fluttershy towards Sugar Cube Corner. Fluttershy was having trouble walking now that she was 9 months pregnant, and her belly was even more swollen than it was supposed to be. She nearly fell forwards and her husband was able to catch her. "You sure you don't want me to carry you?" She then looked at him and then steadied her head. "No, I can handle it." "Pinkie, what is it about anyway?" "You'll see," Pinkie Pie snorted as she bounced over bakery steps. Fluttershy was about to follow her when Discord scooped her in his arms. "Discord, I said, you can't walk up the steps. You might trip and hurt yourself and the baby." She sighed in surrender and let him carry her. As soon as they were inside, every pony jumped out from their hind place and said, "Surprise!" Fluttershy gasped as the decorated room was before her. 5 of her best friends, as well as Spike and the favorite fillies, were there, and once the banner was ringing, "Congratulations." "What's this?" "We threw you a baby shower," Pinkie Pie squealed. "But this showering this morning?" Discord said confusedly. The mares laughed. "A baby shower is a party for expecting mothers," Twilight explained. "Her female friends have organized it and bring gifts for the baby." Tears filled Fluttershy's eyes. "Girls, this is wonderful. Thank you so much." "Don't thank us yet," Pinkie insisted. "You haven't opened your presents yet." She led her open to the stack of presents and handed her one gift in pink. "Open mine first." Fluttershy was about to sit down when Discord summoned a comfortable armchair beneath her. Pinkie then placed the gift on her lap, and Fluttershy began unwrapping it. She then opened the box and revealed a yellow and orange hat with a green propeller, and then she took a look at it and questioned it. "I saw it in the hat shop the other day, and I think it looks cutesy-wootsy on your baby's head," Pinkie said excitedly. Discord twirled the propeller. "It's kind of cute." "Thank you, Pinkie," Fluttershy smiled. "I'm sure our child will love it." "Now for my gift," Rarity said, handing a box of purple wrapping. There were 6 sets of full-size pajamas in red, orange, blue, green, yellow, and purple. I didn't know whatever that was going to be a boy or a girl, the unicorn explained. I just made one of each for the color of the rainbow. I hope it's going to be a pony-shaped. She then darted her eyes at Discord. What? Draconicus shrugged. When the baby arrives, I need to make sure I have the proper measurements. They are beautiful, Rarity, Fluttershy said. She opened up Twilight's presents left. It was an illustrated book on fairy tales to read for the child. Then Rainbow Dash gave her a rainbow-colored rattle, and which explained that it was hers when she was a foal. But you didn't want to keep this for your baby? Fluttershy inquired. They haven't received the news last week. The Rainbow was expecting as well. Discord didn't tell you? I'm having twins. I can't fight them over a rattle. What? Pinkie cried. You're having 2 babies? Which one is going to be my godchild? Rainbow laughed. Well, we'll figure that out later. Next was Applejack's present, a baby bonnet with apples embroidered along the edge. It was mine, she explained, and Apple Bloom's, and I figured you could use it. Ooh, Apple Bloom cried. Can I go next? Her wish was granted, and the filly gave her a small quilt. It was checkered in brown and yellow, and each square was decorated with pink butterfly to match Fluttershy's cutie mark, and each brown one had a black spiral in the center. I made it myself, Apple Bloom said proudly. I incorporated both parents' personalities into it, so that way your baby may be remember of how special he or she is. Apple Bloom, Fluttershy uttered. It's beautiful. She then let out a seat and gave the filly a hug. The dragon then stepped forward with his gift. I had to ask Twilight's permission for this to go first, he said. In the box was an old stuffed green dragon. This is Sir Fangsalot, Spike explained. Twilight gave it to me when she took me home, and I've kind of outgrown him of it, but I'm sure Discord Jr. would like it. I have a toy for the baby too, Scootaloo announced. She brought out a tiny red scooter with a yellow bow on it. This was my first scooter, and I've gotten so big for it now. Oh, and I have recorded my favorite lullabies, Sweetie Belle said, holding up a record. Oh, thank you, everybody, Fluttershy exclaimed. These are just wonderful presents. Well, we're not done yet, Applejack declared. We all pitched in on this one. Pinkie Pie bounced upstairs and followed by the cowgirl and returned with a wooden crib painted in blue and decorated with pink roses on the side. A cushion feathered with a laced pillow that was made of silk. Fluttershy was about to cry. You're all just such wonderful friends. I know our baby is going to have the best aunt and uncle in the world. They all moved into a group hug. When suddenly Fluttershy felt a sharp pain in her belly, and she cried out and clutched her stomach. Her friends backed away as Discord flew to her side. Honey, what's wrong? He pleaded. The baby, she wheezed. I think it's coming. Now? But it's too early. Tell that to the baby. But it's only been 9 months, Rarity exclaimed. That doesn't matter, Twilight said. We need to get her to the hospital. Discord did not waste any time and then teleported her out of there, leaving the 8 ponies and the dragon alone. Well, I guess we're walking, Spike said with a shrug. At the hospital staff was caught by surprise when Discord came barging in the emergency room, pushing Fluttershy on a stretcher. The baby's coming! The baby's coming! He screamed frantically. What? Miss Dr. Stabble ordered. The baby is not due for another 2 months. Well, it's impatient. It's my kid, after all. The doctors were still skeptical, but it was clear that something was wrong with the mother and led to the couple to the maternity ward. On the way there, they passed Derpy. Fluttershy, she exclaimed. I thought you weren't due for another 2 months. Fluttershy's breathing staggered. So I did, but the baby had other plans. Sweet! Our kids are going to have the same birthday. Derpy's stretcher steered away while Fluttershy's entered another room. I will need to get an X-ray, Dr. Stables said. Discord summoned up a device and hung it over his wife's stomach, and the doctor examined it with wide eyes. It's impossible, but the baby looks like it's about ready to come out. Well, what are you waiting for? The Draconicus demanded. You're a doctor. Help my wife. Dr. Stable called for nurses Sweetheart and Coldheart, and they put on their scrubs and masks to get the patient into position. Discord summoned up a mask as well and was lightly around his wife's hoof. It's okay, honey, he assured her. I've got you. Just breathe, ma'am, Nurse Coldheart said. You're doing great. Oh, keep pushing. I see it, Nurse Sweetheart declared. Keep pushing. Fluttershy let out a cry that it could be heard all the way from Canterlot. 5 ponies and the 3 fillies and dragon were pacing around the living room. They have stiffened as they heard Fluttershy scream. What are they doing to her? Pinkie squealed. If it hurts so much for one baby, to what Rainbow Dash clutched to her stomach, I can't imagine what it's going to be like for me. I'm sure she's fine, Twilight said calmly. When Dr. Stable entered the room, the alicorn jumped out of her seat. Is she alive? She asked frantically. The doctor laughed. Fluttershy has successfully given birth to a healthy baby girl, and they're both doing fine. Every pony gasped. A girl? Pinkie repeated. This is fantastic. Wait, Rarity asked. What does she look like? Fluttershy gazed down lovingly at the full cradle in her hooves. Isn't she beautiful? Discord scratched his head. It looked so normal. The infant was an earth pony with a pink coat, a curl of purple, and white hair on her head. Isn't that what you wanted? Fluttershy asked. You said you didn't want our child to be judged by her looks like you were. Yeah, but how do you know it's my baby? The Pegasus appealed. Discord! Well, I didn't mean that. Maybe they give us the wrong one. I mean, look at it. No snake tail, no antlers. It doesn't even have wings. Like we both have wings. Shouldn't she have wings? But that doesn't make any sense. I fly with you. Nothing made sense. Well, maybe there's a bit of nothing unusual about her. The baby opened its eyes and fluttered open, revealing them to have purple spirals for pupils. I'd say it's yours, Fluttershy said, cuddling her daughter. Welcome to the world, little one. Maybe that's Derpy's, Discord insisted. Discord, stop it. This is your daughter, and she did not get switched. I'm sorry, but it doesn't look like you or me. Well, my mother had a purple mane, and my grandfather was an earth pony. Still, I still needed some proof that this is my... He trailed off when the baby started crying. Oh, now look what you've done, Fluttershy snapped, and she looked at the baby sympathetically. Aw, I think she's hungry. She gasped as a bottle of chocolate milk appeared between them. The baby giggled in delight and flowed down to her. She took it in her hooves and sucked it constantly on the nipple. Discord, she shouldn't be drinking that stuff yet, Fluttershy said, trying to tug the bottle away, but only for the foal to get a tight grip on it. Hey, I didn't give her that, the Draconiquest said, holding out his hands. I swear. Then how? She glanced down at the baby as the bottle slowly disappeared from her hooves and then drew the chocolate milk away, creating a small explosion. A wide smile spread across the Discord's face. She's mine, all right. He bent down and tickled the infant. Coochie coochie coo. The baby let out a smile, laughed as she attempted to squirm away from this delightful torture. Oh, look at her. Isn't she just a adorable little screwball? His face lit up. That's it. We'll call her Screwball. Fluttershy then raised her eyebrow. Screwball? Wouldn't that be labeling our baby as crazy? I need to remind you of my name. Point taken, she smiled, laughing at the foal. Screwball it is. Which one is it? Pinkie demanded, eagerly pressing her face against the window of the nursery. The one in the middle? The nurse sweetheart said, pointing. The ponies all turned their attention at the pink foal, sucking on her own hoof. It's, Rainbow speculated, normal. Then it opened its swirly eyes. Never mind. Every pony jumped as Discord appeared behind them. I know. Isn't she precious? We named her Screwball. How lovely, Rarity grumbled. Aw, she's so cute, Pinkie squeaked. And we had another arrival within an hour, Nurse Sweetheart's reveling. From a Miss Ditsy Doo. Maybe you know her? You mean Derpy? Rainbow asked. Where's hers? The nurse pointed at the cradles beside Screwballs, laying beside with a gray unicorn with blonde hair. Her eyes were looking at the opposite directions. That's Derpy's, all right, the Pegasus confirmed. What's her name? She called her Dinky, the nurse said. Dinky Doo. Rainbow then stared in wonder at the large ponies that were looking at her. She thought they were quite funny, especially the pink one. It then imagined what it would be like to be tugged on that poofy hair. And then she turned to see the baby next to the crib had started crying. She could tell that this pony was different from the others because her eyes immediately lighted because of she wanted her to stop crying with the pacifier suddenly appeared in front of the unicorn's mouth. The ponies all saw this and gasped. Did I mention that she has my powers? Discord said, oh, she's gonna be such a troublemaker one day. He claps his hands together. Yes, she's gonna make her daddy very proud. A baby with Discord's powers? Spike uttered. Oh boy, Twilight mumbled.